All set.
And I feel like with these, for me, these little things, the volume and this and the other, and I cannot figure it out. And here I am, in a meeting to learn more features. And I'm like, good luck with that, right?
I know, I can't even get my camera up. That's not a good start.
So let's see how we do,
Okay.
We're not gonna have a test or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was, so the idea is that at the beginning of the session, I'll give you a chance to see what the tool is like from the student point of view. Then we'll go into how to create your own content, how to incorporate that into your presentations. And we'll also have some time aside during the presentation, if you have ideas, or at the end to look at, how you can apply some of this to your future classes. So we can take some time together to look at, creating some questions already today for future classes.
Great.
I'll start with a little bit of a context on the tool. So maybe you've heard a bit about WooClap, maybe not at this point, but the real problem that we're trying to solve at WooClap is how to have active learners. How do you have attentive students? How do you maintain their attention and make them active in classes, while providing them with feedback and the opportunity to consolidate their learning. If you haven't seen the tool right now, but WooClap is a tool that's going to allow you to create interactive questionnaires, interactive questions that you can incorporate into your presentations. And you can really structure your courses around these interactive questions, these moments where you're going to exchange with students, but also maybe measure their comprehension of different key terms and notions in your classes. And all of this can also encourage participation, because you can have also anonymous participation for students. And of course, all of this is value either in a remote setting, but also in person, and synchronously, and as well as asynchronously.
Okay.
So as you'll see, the value of the tool is you can really comment on live results that you're collecting. So if you're teaching a class, whether it's in person or at a distance, sometimes it's hard to get the input of the whole class. So having that digital tool allows you to have all of the results projected on the screen. You're able to get that input from the whole class and comment on it live. It can also be of value sometimes if you're in a distance setting where it can be difficult to sort of interact with the students. I think it really is of a lot of value in that sense. And of course, using a digital tool means that you're collecting data, and all of that data can be turned into insights, whether it's insight into the understanding of a student on an individual level, or insights into the understanding of the group as a whole. So we'll be looking at how you can get all of that, all of those insights through the reports.
I have a question. Just the teachers get to see the results, right? Students do not.
Correct.
So if I comment on somebody's answer or wrong answers, or if I want to give any feedback, not everybody's going to say, oh, okay, it's because of me, or oh yeah, you kind of did it wrong, so no, I can base my comments without having students to see somebody else's results, so they don't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see as well that there is an option to send a report to the student of his own participation if he wants to go over his results.
Okay.
But generally speaking, only the teacher, only the presenter has access to the results of the event.
Gotcha.
Perfect. And I think the best way to have an idea of what the tool is like is to give you a chance to participate. So you can either scan the QR code, or I'm going to add a link in the chat. And if you just go into the chat and click on the link that I've sent, you should be connected to this event. And then we can try out some different WooClap questions. And as you can see now at the bottom of my screen, I see that there's 2 people connected on my event. So whenever I'm comfortable with the amount of people connected, and 3 people, I think now we have the right amount, I can move on to the next question. And I thought I'd start off with a quick icebreaker question. So this is just maybe a question you can ask at the beginning of a class, just to get the conversation going. Maybe while you're waiting for people to sit down and get installed. It's just a quick icebreaker question. Where are you located on this tree? So it's sort of a mood tree in a certain sense, let's say, with more of positive feelings on the left and others on the right. And all you have to do is pin it on your screen and validate your answer. And then it should appear on my screen as a presenter.
Okay. Well, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to click where I am right now?
Yeah, you click where your mood is. Which one corresponds to your mood, let's say. So it's just an icebreaker.
Okay, even if I try to, okay, now I see that it works. You know, I'm used to see the little hand, so I didn't see the hand, so that's what I didn't know whether I was clicking the right thing or not.
No, you just need to put it on the screen and then one.
And so far, the steps that you are asking us to do are the ones that we're going to be asking students to do. You know, like
absolutely.
We can send a link and things like that. So I can work from my computer instead of using my phone to it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be showing you how to do all of that.
Okay, sounds good.
No problem. I'll take you through it step by step.
Aaron, you're going to have to ask some questions. I don't want to be the only one.
Oh, sorry.
No problem at all.
Like,
I'm not a big talker, but I listen very well.
Help me ask questions. Okay.
Taking it all in, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, the next question here is a polling question. So here I'm just asking, have you ever used WooClap? And as you can see again, if you're in a large group and you want to get an idea, you'll have that visual cue already in class. That allows you to comment on all of the results that you're collecting. Thank you. So I see that I think both of you, I think Sarah is the one that's used it out of the three. And moving on now to our last question, and then we'll be creating content after this. But what word or words best describe today's students? So this is just, let's say, an open question that I've decided to present in the form of a word cloud. I think that's a very interesting way of using the tool, is if you're in a large group or in maybe like a distance setting, or you want to interact with a large group, if you want to ask one of these open questions, the word cloud is going to allow you to have a very visual cue to comment on. Any answer that comes in multiple times, that's going to be reflected in the size of the word inside of the word cloud. Which means that, you know, if let's say the word tentative comes in multiple times, that one is going to be made bigger and the other ones will be smaller. So you can see any trends there are in different answers that you're collecting from the group. And it's just a very visual way to have a conversation. So here I can see curious came in multiple times, and that can be confirmed if I go on the left here. You can see curious came in multiple times, and that's made bigger. So yeah, this one other use of WooClap. So thanks for your attention and participation. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate. And then otherwise we can move on to the content creation part. Okay. So this is the main page that you arrive on once you've created your WooClap account. It's important to note as well that WooClap can be used as an activity and linked as an activity inside of Moodle. So you can create your content directly from your Moodle account, or you can create an account on wooclap.com. So those are really your two options. I'll let Sarah, I see a hand raised.
Yeah, I wanted to give Aaron and Connie an update. So we noticed that there's a little bit of an integration issue since our upgrade to Moodle 4.0 over the winter break. So when we have time in a little bit to go into WooClap, we'll go through the website and we'll log in that way, but then you will be able to integrate it into the LMS. Leah's working on it this morning.
Awesome.
Okay, so we'll have the link directly.
Yeah, it'll look like a little activity, just like your textbook links or other like LTIs. We already have it built into the LMS, but something was happening yesterday. So like Josh was able to use it, but Mary Roldan was not. And so today I think we should just go through the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. And so once you're in, you'll have an unlimited access to the tool and all the functionalities. And the first thing you want to do is go ahead and press on Create Event, which brings you to the event creation interface. Now, one event is what we consider to be one individual class that you'll be teaching. So, for example, you could it could be a French class for the 5th of January. Here, imagine I'm teaching geography class. I would just rename my event in the top left corner. I just rename it geography class. So I've renamed my event, and then of course, what pops up, what really comes to mind here are all of the question types that you can see in the central banner here. So I can choose from 16 different question types. So you can see some classic find a number, ratings, fill in the blanks, which can be useful in teaching languages as well. Matching questions, of course, a lot of them that we're used to seeing in textbooks, of course, but made more digital. Label and image. And now we can go ahead and create maybe some of these questions together so that we can see how we would go about that. So before you start creating your content, of course, I think it's important to look at your class material and maybe try to find the moments where you want to either interact with your students or either maybe evaluate their understanding of a key notion. So maybe at the beginning of a class, if there was a prerequisite that was to understand the notion of GDP, maybe I want to poll my students before I start and ask them if they understand that notion. So to do that, then I would just click on poll question here. And then I would type in my question at the top. You understand the notion of GDP?
Wait a second.
Yep.
I can't see what you're doing. Maybe I'm on the wrong screen.
Is my yeah, it should be you should be on the Zoom call.
Yeah, so Connie, you're probably on a different tab with the poll. So I wonder if you have two tabs open at the top.
Let me see.
Because you're still on the Zoom call. So it's probably just minimized or you've got a different tab up.
Okay. Okay, I'm here on create a poll.
Yep, you're in the right place.
Okay, that's the one. Okay, perfect.
I'll
Yeah, it was behind the other ones. Yes, I'm sorry about that.
No problem. And so yeah, this is the main interface platform here, and you can see that you have all of the question types here. And so in this case, I'm going to create a polling question. So I just click on poll. And then I type in my question at the top. So, do you understand the notion of GDP? So my question at the top and the options that the students can choose from. So in this case, it's just a yes or no question. So I'm just going to add the options yes or no. So now I can go ahead and save my question, and you can see that it's already appearing just here. Next, I'm going to ask them another, say, geography question. For example, what is the capital of France? So this is a multiple choice question, which means there is a good or a bad answer. So here I'm going to type in my different options that they can choose from. Is it Dublin? Is it London?
London.
And then I just select the correct answer here. So my question at the top, the options underneath, and then you just need to go ahead and select what the correct answer is and press on save. So again, as you can see now, my two questions appear here. And then finally, I'm going to add one last question, which would be a find on image question. So I'm going to click on this question type here, find on image. And I'm going to type in my question at the top. Where is Colombia located on this map? So my question at the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and upload an image that is already pre-downloaded on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and just select an image from my computer and upload it underneath. So now you can see I've uploaded this map. I have my question at the top. So of course, since there's a good answer, I need to add a zone in which I consider all the answers to be correct. So to do that, I'm just going to click on add zone here. Add a circle. And then just add that here. So as this is Colombia, anything that is located within this zone that I've created and added on the map will be considered to be a correct answer. And then I'm going to go ahead and press on save. So now we have those 3 questions that we've just created. If I want, I can already display them and have people participate. And to do that, all I would have to do is press on display beside how to participate. So this line will always be here in every one of your events because it's the instructions to connect. So when I press on display here, it shows me the instructions to connect to the event. But I think the most interesting way of using, of course, these questions is to incorporate them into your pre-existing presentations. So to do that, and as you saw when I was giving the intro to this session, I was going from my slides into the questions and back and forth. So as you already probably have content, presentations, maybe PowerPoint presentations, let's see how you can now put these questions inside of that presentation. So to do that, on the right-hand side, I'm going to press on Add Presentation here. And as you can see, I can import my PowerPoints, my PDFs, my keynotes, or Google Slides directly into WooClap. So I'm going to go ahead and import my PowerPoint presentation. As you can see now, it's being imported into my account. And underneath it now, you can see there's an Insert Questions button. So when I click on this Insert Questions button here, it's bringing me to this other interface. So this video will be here to help you when you're trying it out for yourselves. I'll be showing you myself for today. And as you can see now, I have my presentation on the left. So each one of my slides that I just imported into the account. And on the right-hand side, we have all of these questions that we just created together. So now the only thing that's left to do is to insert my questions into the presentation where I want them to appear. So the first one you want to insert, of course, are the instructions to connect, because you need to get all your students connected to the event. So if I want my students to start participating after the introduction slide and before the GDP slide, what I would do is take the instructions on the right-hand side, and I'm going to drag and drop them where I want them to appear in the presentation. So that's my first one. And then I want to ask this question here. So I'm going to drag and drop it there. Maybe my question on France should appear after this slide. And then finally, my last question towards the end. So I'm just taking the questions that I previously created and I'm dragging and dropping them inside of my presentation as if they were really part of that presentation.
So there is no need to create another slide, just bring the question in.
Exactly. So if you already have a presentation that you use for classes, you can very well already import that presentation into WooClap and then just think of, oh, what questions do I want to ask? And then just insert those questions within the presentation. But there's no modifications to make to your presentation.
Okay.
So then I'm just going to go ahead and press on save. And then when I'm in class, instead of projecting my PowerPoint presentation, I would be on WooClap with this presentation with the questions inside of it. And I would be projecting this screen to my class as I am doing to you now on Zoom. And all I have left to do is press on start here. And then by just using the arrows as I usually would in my presentation, I can go from one slide to another. And I can already have them answer all the questions that we've created. So does everything make sense up till now? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. I do have a
Mhm.
question.
Yeah.
So this presentation that you have, could you also somehow add a slide that had like a video, like a link to a YouTube video, or maybe like a link to a website where, and then could they go to the website through their end? Or
Yeah. Oh,
cool.
yeah, that's one thing I didn't mention, and maybe that's I know Sarah made me notice yesterday. I forgot to mention it. But any presentation that's imported into WooClap is imported in a static format, which is a PDF format, which means if you have any transitions or videos in your presentations, they won't be directly supported. That being said, any videos can be added to your presentation as a question type. So if you had a YouTube video, you would just go here and go into the video and paste the link to your YouTube video, and then you would insert that like question, that sort of acts as a slide.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. So now I think we can go through some of these different features that you'll see here, and then we'll be able to test it
Ciaran,
out.
before
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
go into that, in terms of Aaron's second question about a link, I'm wondering, like, would that just be something you would share like in your chat? Like if you're hosting a live synchronous session through Zoom or Collaborate, you could just put the link in the chat, right? Because then they could just click right on it, because they wouldn't be able to click necessarily on the Woo. Like if you even posted the link in your WooClap as text, it wouldn't be dynamic. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you were in an asynchronous questionnaire, you could make a dynamic link.
Okay.
As on the WooClap, as participants on the WooClap, they can't click on the unless you've chosen, to make it appear on their screen.
Oh, yes, you could set it up as one of the questions.
I don't think, you can't put a hyperlink in a question, but what you can do is,
But in the chat, that would be perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, great.
It's good to have workarounds.
Yeah, no, I love this. I'm so excited to try this.
Perfect. Great. So like the next button you see here is authentication. So a few things, you can either have participants be anonymous. So when you connected to the event, there was no need for authentication, but there are ways of requiring some form of authentication from participants. And when I click on it, you can see them here. I can require them to connect via email, social, or it's also possible via Moodle. So if you've created, when you're using this via Moodle, if you've created an activity, WooClap activity, students will already be authenticated in Moodle, and that will communicate with WooClap. So that means that then when you're in report functions, you'll be able to see who said what if they connected via Moodle. So that forces authentication. The other value of authenticating via Moodle is that you can also synchronize the results that you've collected with the gradebook. So some authentication options you have there. The next one that you see here is participant username. So I can ask of participants to choose their own username. It's maybe a less formal way of authenticating. And I'm going to activate this, and we'll see what that looks like in a moment. The next option you see here is results visible by default. So in some instances, if you're in a live class, for example, and you have a multiple choice question, maybe some students are going to wait to see what others are answering before giving their answer. So if you want to keep control over when you display the answers collected, you can deactivate this button. And I'll show you in a minute what that looks like, but then you'll have control over when you show the answers and when you then show the correct answer. The next button you see here is the I'm confused button. So if I click, if I activate this option, I'm giving the option to the participant, to the student, to click on a button stating that he's confused, which will appear on the projected screen on the teacher's screen. So that then I can take into account maybe that 1 or 10 or 15 people are confused. without necessarily maybe interrupting the flow of my presentation. I can then go back and circle back and maybe explain some of those notions again, and then move on if they've understood. Another way that you can communicate with students during classes with WhoClap is via messages. So these aren't messages that are sent privately between the teacher and the student. They're messages that will be sent to what we call the message board. So then you can project a board of all the messages that have been collected. That being said, the name of the person that has sent the message won't be shown beside the message. It's anonymous in the sense that people won't know who sent it, but you as a teacher will know in other features. So to activate the messages, you just go under the title here. We were, for the moment, always in the votes tab, but there's a messages tab here. And if I go into the messages tab, I can activate the wall of messages, allow likes and images. So we'll see what that looks like in just a moment as well. And then finally, the last option that you see here is the competition mode. So the competition mode is a way of gamifying your course. So if you've required some form of authentication, you can activate the competition mode, and you'll be able to display a podium of the students that have collected the most points over all of the questions. So it's a way of playing maybe on the more competitive side of students, gamifying the course and getting them more into an active stance maybe during the classes. So now that we've activated all of these options, now maybe we can test them out together and answer those questions that we created. And I'll add the link in the chat again. So if you want that link when you're presenting, you can copy it directly by clicking here, or as well when you're displaying this slide, there's a link here as well. So then all you have to do is take that link and paste it in the chat for your students to click on, or you can also have them scan the QR code. So for that, all they have to do is take their phones out and open the camera and just point it, and that'll show them a link that they can that will redirect them to the event. So now I'm sure that students are quite used to that process. It shouldn't be too difficult for them. And I can see that we're all connected. And now I can move on to the next question. Now, do you understand the notion of GDP? It's going to be a random answer you give. That's not a problem. And also, we'll move on to this question. Yeah, also when you've answered the questions, don't hesitate to go looking as well for some of those other features that we activated. Maybe like the I'm confused button, or if you can find the message wall. It's a good way to try out some of these functions. So you can see now the difference is since I deactivated the results visible by default, they're not appearing live because I keep control over when I display the answers because I deactivated that option. So then when I'm ready, I can click on results, which will show me all the answers that I collected. And then I can also display the correct answer by just clicking on this button. And then finally, our last question, where is Colombia located on this map? It's a find on image question. I could have used a label and image question as well. It's possible to upload an image and add different labels to it that students need to identify. And I can display the answers as I'm collecting them. Oops. Perfect. And I don't know, can you see on your end where the I'm confused button is? Perfect. Yeah, perfect. I see See, 2 of you have found it, and that's where it appears on my end.
Mhm.
And I can also reset that on my end if I want to. And then you should see a little sort of like a little green bubble that you can click on, and that should allow you to send a message if you want to just send in a test message, so I can show you what the wall of messages looks like.
I don't see the green bubble.
On the let me see. I can also show you what it should look like. Oh, it should be here. If you're on the computer, sorry, it's not green on the computer, but this should be this little bubble at the bottom here.
Oh, okay.
And I can see somebody sent in a message already. Perfect. Thank you. And of course, then, yeah, this can fill up with all of the messages. So as I said, you'll be able to see at the end in the report function who sent what message, but the message that is sent isn't sent with the name of the person underneath it. So, I mean, in a sense, it's anonymous, you know, in a sense, but at least that kind of sort of like free speech a bit. And people can then ask their questions. Students can like each other's questions if they want to bring more attention to that one. And you can click on any one of the messages that you receive to bring attention to it and make it a bit bigger. And then, of course, the last option that we activated together was the gamification one of competition mode. So as you can see here at the bottom of my screen, there's a little trophy. So if I click on that trophy, then I can display the top players. And that goes for top 3, top 5, top 10, top 15. And you can, you know, there's multiple ways of sort of using that. You can either, you know, show it at the end of every question and comments on how the leaderboard is changing if you want to, you know, really make it competitive, or just do that at the end of the class. It's, yeah, your choice. Perfect. Are there any questions so far?
I was just curious, kind of off topic, but how would you create that slide you had that was the icebreaker where it was like all the moods? Is that something you had to kind of like create from scratch?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And how did you do it, if so?
Yeah, no, if it helps you, there's an examples gallery. And it's quite useful when you're starting. For example, you know, you might come across some types of questions where you don't really know how they can be used. So this will give you different examples. And I believe that one of the ones, I think we might have some icebreaker questions in this actually. Oh yeah, icebreakers, look here.
Great.
So there are some icebreakers that you can already use here and import into your account. So you can preview them, you can then add them into your event. And I think we also have an article on our blog that has 5 different icebreakers as well that you can import into your account.
Great, thank you. Good note of that.
I think this one is one you can use. Yeah, point to your
Awesome.
mood today. It's a bit in the same style as the one I used.
Great, thank you. That's fun.
Okay, yeah, so of course, as I said then at the beginning, a big use of digital tools is of course all the data that you're collecting and all the insights that that gives you into the understanding of the group. Maybe I'll take some results from another class, from another workshop where a bit more. Perfect. So when I go into the report, then this is about what it would look like. So I have, of course, all of the participants at the top. And the first tab that you see here, report, is going to give you a general screenshot of all of the answers that you've collected. And it gives you a general understanding of the comprehension of the group. So here I can see that 92% of the students got the correct answer in this, so I can consider that, you know, it's a good statistics. Maybe if it were 60% that only 60% got it right, then maybe I want to reassess you know, how I teach it, or maybe I want to make some extra resources available asynchronously, or go over that notion again. But again, all of that data is giving you insight into the teaching, into the learning. The next tab you can see here is participants. So here it's going to be an individual breakdown of each student and the answers that he provided. And you have the possibility, if you've authenticated in a way that requires for an email, so that also applies to Moodle, you can send individual reports by email. So by just clicking on this button, WooClap will send a report to each student of his participation, what he gave as an answer, as well as what the correct answer was. So that's helping him kind of go over, giving him that feedback, and the opportunity to sort of go over all of that content that he saw in class that day. And then finally, the last tab you see here is the grid tab. And this is a sort of a mix of both, where you can see the statistics in general, as well as all of the users, all of the students, as well as the answers that they gave. So that's for the reporting options that you have there. So all of this till now was for uses of WooClap in the live setting. I just want to make sure, you know, if you have any questions right now, don't hesitate. Want to make sure that it makes sense so far. And we'll also, you know, have some time, of course, in a few minutes, we'll have some time to go into how you can create your own content. And I'm happy to go through it step by step again, if ever it was too quick. Oh, I think you're on mute, Sarah.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Ciaran. I have a question for Aaron and Connie. I'm curious to know how you think you might use this.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, one of you has to talk.
I definitely want to use it, you know, like do live lessons on it. I was thinking in class, but you know, whenever I teach a class, all students have a device, either their phone or computer. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, I've used quizzes a lot, which I like this better in a lot of ways. So I definitely want to use it for like managed in class. And then I was wondering, I don't know if you were just saying you're going to talk about that, but how you would can you still do all this like asynchronously? Like, could you make it, because that's I feel like that's a lot of what I do, just because sometimes I'll have like different, in a lab setting where I have different students working on different curriculum. So I like to kind of turn the live lessons into an asynchronous version.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the next part.
Oh, great. Yay. Okay. Thanks.
Connie,
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, definitely I'm with Aaron. You know, I would love to use it on my seated classes. So that way I can do the interaction, you know, maybe a few minutes, at least 10 minutes before the class is over, instead of like, do you have any questions? I kind of reinforce what I have just taught. I'm still trying to process how I can use it on my fully online classes.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not quite sure yet of all the features. And right now my PowerPoints have, they are like videos. Mm-hmm. So, you know, my narrow-minded brain doesn't tell me yet how I can expand it, mm-hmm. you know, because unless I want to do a collaborate or something, you know, kind of an interaction, because then it will be like, take a quiz on your own, and I come back and I read the results. I don't know yet how to manage that, but definitely it will be a good tool for a seated class.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know Ciaran's going to talk more about, about asynchronous. One thing I want to mention for Connie, because you teach a lot of times where your class is being delivered to another campus, correct? You're doing a lot of distance learning classes.
Well, I'm using Collaborate, yes.
Yeah. And so through Collaborate, you know, they could be doing the WooClap at TCC and at HCC, right? And all those results are going to come together. So it really brings the class together. So that could be really cool, is that, you know, it's a live, when you're doing those distance learning, it's a nice way to bring all those students into one space together.
Yeah, they will
That'll
be participating, so it will be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The asynchronous stuff that Ciaran's going to talk about, I think is going to work really well for you, Aaron. Connie, if your PowerPoints are already videos, you've already turned them into like YouTube videos, WooClap could be used as a follow-up, like you could have, and Ciaran will kind of show you how that works. But the other thing, we could talk about another solution. So you could be using 2 different applications, and we'll get to that, but I still think there's potential for sure.
Yeah, if not, you know, I think the easiest way for right now, I can create just a regular PowerPoint and incorporate the questions. But my question will be, okay, so I will have to go back. You know, it's kind of it will be too big of a lapse or gap in between their answers and my time to come back to talk about the results. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because it will be like, take a quiz and give me a day or two, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, and you and I can talk about that, maybe because I do discussion forums, I can, you know, I can probably incorporate this and everybody will be able to see the answers. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's something you and I, or whenever,
Yeah.
we can talk about that.
And one thing to think about, the YouTube video option that Ciaran showed you earlier, you can actually determine when that video starts and stops. So within a single WooClap, you could have the same video embedded like a few different times, but it be starting and stopping at different times. So you could like have them watch the first 5 minutes and they just see the first 5 minutes and then they get a question. And then you could have that same video again, but they started at minute 6 and they watch 5 more minutes. So you could still embed it into a WooClap just more than one time. Are you following me?
Yes.
Okay. So
But
yeah.
like I said, you and I can sit together.
Yep.
And, or whenever, if there is another workshop, because I don't want to hold the tutorial right now. So because that brings more questions.
Yep. Yeah. So the second half of this, we can start talking through that, and I'll give it back to Ciaran for now, but I'm glad I wanted us to be thinking about those things as we go into this next part.
Oh, totally. Yes.
Real quick, I just wanted to say that makes me think just what you're saying with how to use it in your lesson, that for any lesson, I feel like it could really facilitate discussion, like in class, because of some of the ways it's like anonymous and just kind of non-threatening. It's like some students that might not always participate might through the WooClap, and you can even bring that to the class where you're like, oh, well, like somebody said this, and then it like people are more likely to even talk in class. So I could just see how like with absolutely any lesson, you could at least do like a poll or an icebreaker, and then like facilitate discussion, and then use it for like kind of quick checks for understanding, things like that. So I'm just I see myself using it more like fully, you know what I mean? Like through the WooClap. But that was interesting because it made me think about how in the live class setting, that would really help open up discussion.
Yes, and those shy students will be able to write their questions, and if I keep, you know, the default off, so nobody can actually see, you know, I'm just going to address that question that the shy student doesn't want to ask.
Right.
Because they always think there's a stupid question. That's what they think.
Right. Because you don't even have to say who asked it. It's just like, oh, like where somebody wants to know this, or just address it. Yeah, like you said. So that's really cool.
Yes. Yeah. So that's, I find it very, very useful. Definitely. You know, once we master this.
Yeah. I know it's hard to put it all together. Yeah.
Yes, I have to put it all together. And I'm
Me
sure
too.
we're going to get step by step this again, and the video is going to be recorded.
Yep.
So, you know, the visual will help.
That helps.
Try to create it. And, you know, at some point, I don't know if I'm asking this question ahead of the game, but at some point, Sarah, I don't know if there will be kind of like, let's test this to see if I have done it correctly. You know, so you be my student, and this is what I have created. let me see what I'm missing. Can I see this?
Yeah.
Can I see everything that we've seen, you
Yep.
know? So
Yeah, I've
you
made a
can be the
few.
guinea pig,
Yep,
you know,
absolutely.
which you've been in the past.
Yes, we
for
want to
certain
support
things.
that for sure. And I'll just tell you, I did the same thing when I started making them. I tested them out myself or asked other people to test them with me. Cause yeah, that's the other scary part. It's like, well, I did all this work. Is it even going to work?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
students always have questions,
Mhm.
you know, especially if they're like me. So I gotta be able to answer them
Yeah.
Yeah.
and solve the problem right away.
Yeah.
And I've learned with students too, with using quizzes, which is kind of similar as far as they'll have like multiple choice to answer something that if you make a mistake and when you like program the wrong answer, people get really mad. They're like, hey, and it like, especially if it's in competitive, it's like, oh my God, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. So it is good to double check.
Yeah, but for foreign languages, you know, the multiple choice to check vocabulary as a game or something, they are very competitive. So they're going to try to
Right.
answer
They
quickly.
get
And
mad.
everybody, and they're going to be doing what they love the most, which is to be on their phone trying to play with all the features.
Mhm.
You
Right.
know, so you're targeting all those likes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will be the thing. Mhm.
I think we're going to have some super users here, Ciaran.
Yeah. Sounds like
I'm,
a good
yeah, I
idea
hope
coming
I
out, so that's
can.
great here.
I'm gonna like right when we're done. Do I have like a login? Can I like get in there right away?
Yes.
Yay! Okay.
Yeah, that's the second half of this. We want you guys to jump in and start working. So we'll hand it
Cool.
back to Ciaran for now, and then we'll start workshopping here in a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. So yeah, so up till now we've seen the votes tab, we've seen the messages tab briefly. And so the votes tab is really to be considered all uses of WooClap, synchronous uses of WooClap, so in live settings. But you can see that there's a participant paste tab here. And when I click on that here, I have the option of either creating a questionnaire. So I can create a questionnaire from scratch. So, you know, in the same way that we did it. But of course, you know, you might want to import your questions that you've created for the live session. So to do that, you would just press on import questions here. I could select the class that we just taught, select all and import. So now I've imported all of my questions from my live event. Maybe I want to call it revision geography class. So I've renamed the asynchronous questionnaire. I've imported my questions from the live event. And now all I have to do is press on save. And when I press on save, I have the option of either publishing later or publishing now. So if I press on publish now my asynchronous questionnaire is live. So how do I share that with the students? It's just using that same unique link. So I would just copy this link here. I'd send that to, and you can see that for yourselves if you'd like. I'll share it in the chat. Open. There we go. So you can have an idea of what it looks like. So I've shared it in the chat, the asynchronous questionnaire, and then you can go through that at your own rhythm and answer any of these questions. And then as a presenter, when I go back into this participant paste tab here, oh, sorry, I should knock these off. Yeah. I have then the report options beside each one of my questionnaires. So you can see here, I have the questionnaire revision geography class that we just created. And beside it, I have the report function. And this is where I would go get the results from the asynchronous questionnaire that I created. So I can see I already have one respondent here. So that's perfect. So again, the live uses are in the votes tab, and participant pace is the asynchronous use of the tool. There's another way of using the tool asynchronously. So if you've created your presentation the way we did here with all of your questions inside of the presentation, and you want that to be made available to your students asynchronously, that's also a possibility. So you can give them the option of having, let me see, just go back to our initial. Perfect. So you can give your students the option of going basically through your presentation as you would do it in the live setting. So they could be able to see the presentation like this, answer the questions. And to do that, you need to go into more settings here. And then click on show slides on participant devices asynchronously. And once that's been activated, they'll be able to go through the presentation with the slides and the questions within the presentation. Now, maybe Sarah and I will talk about that, but maybe I can compile some different links to different articles we have in our help center that can take you through some of these notions again, because I know it's a lot of going here and there and pressing on this and that can be a bit overwhelming in the initial training sessions. But I'm sure there's a lot of resources that have been put at your disposal. And also going back to what was being said before, but when it comes to testing out the tool for yourself, the way I've often done it when I was starting with the tool is I would just create my questions here. And then in the second tab, I would just copy this link. I would launch my event here. And I would just be the participant myself and just try it out myself. So I'd have my questions on the left-hand side. So in this tab, I'm the presenter. In this tab, I'm the participant. And I would just try it out for myself just to see how it reacts, let's say, on the other end. So that's always an option of just copying that link, and in another tab, if you have two screens, it's even better, or otherwise in another tab, just trying it out for yourself, just to see if it's exactly acting the way that you wanted.
I had a question.
Yeah.
If I do not want to incorporate my questions in my presentations, let's say, and I'm talking about the fully online, I can probably create an activity, like this, and go into the multiple choice. So it will be graded as, let me try to think this through. So, students have to participate and check the attendance weekly, whatever, okay? But just to make sure that they see the value of participating, I can create this every week, every 2 weeks, this activity, okay? And because I'm gonna see the responses, I wanna see the results, can I use that as a grade, to mini quizzes or participation, whatever? I will check, what I can do with my grade book, but I can probably just by hand do the grading into my grade book. I don't know if this is a question for you or for Sarah, but I don't know if you follow me. What I'm trying to say, because it's going to be graded, right? It's going to be, I'm going to see that Sarah got 5 questions out of the 7, Aaron got 7 out of 7. So, can I use that the way I ask you, just create one specific activity that will target the videos that they have watched, my tutorials, so kind of make them participate.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say yes. I don't know if Sarah, you want to assist on this one, maybe. I don't want to.
Yeah, so we can have this integrate into the gradebook. It'll synchronize with the gradebook. It's a setting when you go in and create the activity in, like if you start in the website, like we're going to do today, because of these little glitches we're having, you won't choose that. But when you pull it into the LMS later, that'll be one of your settings is, do you want to take this for a grade? And again, like what category do you want to put it in and all that. So as long as you have your settings for that activity correct, it's just like an assignment or a discussion forum. It'll show up the same way. I was going to share. I can do this here for just a second. Ciaran, if you're comfortable with me sharing my screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It'll take me just a hot second to.
Well, basically, Sarah, what I was asking is, since I can see the results on my end, even if I do not incorporate it, or don't put the link directly into the gradebook, I can just go manually.
You can
and see the results you know, and put it into my grade book.
Yeah, you absolutely can manually do it. That's
So
super
these
easy.
activities will be graded on their own
Right.
because we have given the right answer, so students will easily find it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah, you can manually enter it or it can go into the grade book automatically. And I will mention, if you're going to have students using their phones, having
in the
them,
classroom.
yeah, if they're going to use their phones instead of like a laptop,
Mhm.
it may be easier for you to, you know, they're going to be able to access it through that QR code or text or whatever, probably easier than going through the LMS. If they're using a laptop or they're doing it from home on a computer, then accessing it through the My Courses link will work probably fine. But that's one stumbling block for some students because they don't have My Courses on their phone.
Okay, so they can just take a picture on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yep, they can do the QR code thing and get right to it.
Yes.
I do that often.
Okay, yeah, that will be an easy.
Yeah,
easy
and
thing.
then your job, like you would require them to put in a username, and then you would just need to know what those usernames are. So you could just say, you have to use your first name as your username or your
Oh, yeah, yeah,
first
something
initial
that
last name.
will identify right
Yep.
away instead
Yep.
of me trying to,
Yep,
who is this person, you know?
right. Yeah, so you have to require some sort of username if you're gonna do it that way, if you're gonna take grades.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I hope that
But,
wasn't confusing.
but wait a second, no, I'm asking about the fully online.
Yeah. If they're
They
doing
will-
it fully online, it could still be anonymous. So you can't allow it to be anonymous if you're gonna take it for a grade.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yep.
yes, okay, perfect.
And sometimes that anonymity is great, right? Like if you're just trying to get a sense of how the class is doing overall, but you don't need to know about individual student performance.
Mhm.
But sometimes you want to know who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think this is a great tool if I want to, you know, those students that like to come back and check my videos every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
I'm gonna say you're getting behind, you know, and you have missed this activity, that activity, so they're gonna feel like, oh, I gotta do this. But that's the way they're gonna learn.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. I don't need to share my screen, Ciaran. It's fine.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that pretty much covers the basic. I mean, the idea is to not go into any of the advanced features or any of that because it is an introduction to the tool. I think it's counterproductive to go into too many features. So
I thought this was intensive.
well, it is, but it is.
You know, to me, I'm like, oh, there's more to
Well,
it.
what?
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's more. Let me handle this.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the idea. We won't give you
Yeah.
more for today. And yeah, I think the idea then is to look at maybe how you could apply some of these learnings to your classes, how you could put some of these interactive questions into your presentations. So I don't know if you'd be interested in maybe looking into creating a few questions, and we can I'll stay on the call. Sarah will be here as well.
Yeah.
And we can assist you in creating some questions in the next 25 minutes we have together.
So I actually am going to share my screen. I want you all to feel free to just do this along with me. You're going to go to the WooClap website. And I've got my menu in the way. Let's see.
I can't see your screen.
Yeah,
from
yeah, neither can I.
Oh, it says my Zoom just quit.
It says you've started screen sharing, but it doesn't show me your screen. So
Yeah. Yeah. Report, which is even worse. If we all if we lose each other, jump back into the call, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all back. I think that was wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try this again. I'm just sharing my screen real quick to show you how easy it is to get in. So when you go to WooClap, you're going to log in. And the way that, again, normally I've gone in through the LMS directly. Hopefully you're still with me here. But you can log in through Google. Our institution did not come.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, it's great. Sorry, I just had some technical issues myself.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Oh, she's back.
Just in case I lose you guys, let me ask. So you know how you went into the settings and you created an asynchronous version of the questions with the slides?
Yep.
How do you then share that to the students? Is it the same thing where you copy a link and give them the link?
Yeah, it's always
Okay.
the same link. So the
Great.
sharing option is as soon as something is published, will always be that unique link that
Okay.
sends you back to that one event. Yeah.
Great, thanks. Yeah, sorry, just in case I lose you guys.
Hey, no
Great,
problem.
just one. Okay.
No,
So they will not need to create a Whoop Club account.
No, your students won't need to create a Whoop Club account.
Okay, they will just need to take a picture of the access so they can.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to put the camera on it, and then a link will appear, and that'll send them back to that to the website.
Okay.
So I was trying to walk you guys through just going to wooclap.com and then log in through Google, and it should pick up your Blue Ridge EDU email account. When I did that just now, it picked it up and it showed me all the WooClaps I've already built. So they were all right there. It was fully integrated. So I can work in the wooclap.com page, or I can work in the LMS. Like I said, right now there's a weird glitchy thing for some of our LMS accounts. So I say just work in WooClap for today because Leah's working on it.
I can show that connection on my
That'd
end.
be great. Thanks, Ciaran.
No problem. Let's see. So can everyone see my screen? Okay, perfect. So here you have the different options, and the one that was being mentioned was just log in via Google. So you would just click on this. So for me, it's opening up a page with my my WooClap account, but of course for you it'll be your Blue Ridge account, and then you would just use your usual credentials, so your usual email and password, and that should bring you to this page that logically will be empty for you. And for me, it has all of my my events. So normally, just the wooclap.com, and Google, and down into that page.
So Aaron and Connie, this is your time to just try to get in and start creating an event. And Ciaran and I are just going to hang out. And if you want to share your screen, the call allows for that. And you can jump in anytime and share with us or ask us a question, and we'll be hanging out ready.
Okay. Let's see if I can get this.
I'm in.
Man,
I can show you.
go on. Let's move on because I'm still ready. So. Okay. I don't know where I am right now. Okay.
Can you create a slide in WooClap, or is it always better to just import your slide?
Sorry, I was struggling to unmute there.
Yeah, I personally would rather pull stuff in from the PowerPoint or Google Slides because they're more visually, like the WooClap slides I think are a little boring. I haven't played with them that much though, so.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I agree.
I usually like Canva. Sometimes though, I'll import a Canva slide into quizzes because I'm going to use this instead of quizzes, and it'll be like kind of blurrier, which is really annoying. So hopefully this imports slides, images and stuff a little better.
Yeah, I don't know about Canva. Can you pull Canva into this, Ciaran?
Let me check.
I can try. You should be able to because you save the slides as a PDF.
Oh yeah, in that case, yeah.
Yeah, I can do it right now. Test it.
Perfect. And I don't know, Aaron, if you're using Canva, like my big thing was the animations, like I was doing a lot of transitions because I was controlling how much content they saw at a time.
Mhm.
So I've just started creating, like, instead of a slide that has the bullets appear one at a time, now it's 4 slides, right? Like, so I've just done
That's so
that.
smart. Yeah, because all the animations I ever do with Canva, then when you import it somewhere, it's all gone. You know, it's like
gone.
just the
So-
full.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way to, I don't even like think of that. That's perfect way to solve that problem.
I'm a workaround person.
Yeah, seriously, like a divergent thinker. That's good. That's what I need. I'm like, I'm running into a wall. Oh, well, give up.
Connie, have
For
you made
now.
it to, did you make it to
No,
Luca?
no, I'm everywhere. So
Can you share your screen maybe, Connie? And then I can take you through it if you'd like. Might be easier.
I'm a slow learner, so I'm going
Oh, that's fine.
everywhere. So I don't want to take time. I will come back to Sarah with those questions. So
Okay.
let's move
Okay,
on.
that's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, we
But
have
thank you for the offer, though.
yeah, my pleasure. We have also some time aside on I think it's tomorrow.
Yes, so there's office hours at the same time tomorrow. I know it's final registration day, but if you're free, Ciaran's gonna be available the same time, 11 to 12:30, and you can just pop in and show him what you're doing and ask him questions. I mean,